You're feeling that you're not able to concentrate, or you're forgetting. You've studied something, you know that you've studied it well, but very soon you're forgetting. Or you're being very negative. नहीं यार, हमेशा गलत ही होता है, मेरे साथ हमेशा ऐसा होता है, सब मेरे साथ गलत ही करते हैं. When we become more and more negative, when we make more mistakes, when we become more accident prone, when we don't take care of ourselves, we all as young girls like to dress up or keep ourselves up to date. But when we start feeling I don't feel the energy to dress up, or you find that your study habits have changed, these are all alerting signs or red flag signs to see that maybe you're stressed. And what are these things which cause you stress? So can you name some of the things which cause you stress? Some of you said exams. What else can cause you stress?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Responsibility.
Responsibilities. What else? What are your stressors? Your stressors may be different from mine, right? My stressor will be, oh God, I have to wake up my kids. I hope they attend school online properly. I hope they do their assignment. I hope I'm able to reach in time to the hospital. I hope I'm careful when I go to the COVID ward and I don't bring the virus home. I hope that I can, cook something different for my children. So my stressors will be very different. What are your stresses? Some of you said exams, some of you said responsibilities, the stress that comes from your friends, studies,
Pressure about something.
Family issues.
Most
family.
of the people have past as their stress.
Sorry, past, yes. So something which has happened in your past and you're worried about that, or it affects you on a day-to-day basis. So there are so many stressors, right? Stressors which come from your exams, stressors which come from your environment. So what are these sources of stress? Some of these sources of stress are something which come from within ourselves, like our body image. We're not happy with the way we look. We're feeling always self-conscious. Or these stressors which come from outside. Family puts in pressure, especially if you're 9th and 10th graders, a lot of pressure. अभी 9th आ गया, अभी 10th आ गया, serious हो जाओ, अभी पढ़ाई नहीं करोगे तो कब करोगे? Or your school puts pressure on you. Your friends, and somebody said peers. Society puts. I know that when you're in the 10th grade, a lot of uncles, aunts, कोई जबलपुर में है, कोई कानपुर में है, सब फोन करके बोल रहे हैं, अरे बाप रे 10वीं में हो, पढ़ाई चल रहा है कि नहीं, क्या करना है आगे. So much, some kaka who's never bothered about you all these years will suddenly pick up the call and constant, and your mama will say, my God, you better get good marks. That chacha's beta got so much. So much of pressure from society, and the pressure of now the COVID, right? Life as we knew has changed, and we are constantly either we are too thin, or we are too fat, or we are too tall, or we are too short. There's never enough or never satisfaction. Nowadays, there are physical stressors. You are sitting long hours in front of your screen. You are having school online, classes online. You have to sit in one place. There are a lot of other activities happening at home. Everybody is at home. If you have two or three siblings, they're all online class. Mama is at home. Sometimes father is at home. So many things happening at home which cause stress physically. Psychological stressors. Sometimes there are a lot of bullies in your class, or there may be somebody who's bullying you on social media. You may sometimes have conflicts with your teachers. Sometimes it is forced competitiveness. You're not really wanting to compete with another person, but everybody around you is saying, see, that person is doing better. You need to do as well as the other person. Sometimes you are worried about your own poor performance, whether it's an exam or a talent, and you're worried, oh, I'm not doing as well as I want to. Peers. So you want to spend more time with your peers, but you don't want your parents around. You feel that what your peers say matter more than what your parents say. And then sometimes because of this peer pressure, you have conflicts with your parents, or you have a lot of conflicts with your friends. And something which is very unique for your generation as compared to mine, like I said, hum bhi kabhi bacche the, but at that time we just had this one color TV, and we did not have so much of input from everybody around. Now, because of your Snapchats, Instagram, Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, you just put in one small little comment and everything explodes on social media. and somebody who's just passing, somebody whom you may not just be a friend, just passes a comment and it stays with you throughout the day. So a lot of social media pressure also causes a lot of stressor to you. And now the pandemic. So a lot of us have had, when the pandemic started in March, we felt that it was happening to somebody else. Slowly, as we have passed 9 months now, all of us have had somebody in the family who's fallen sick and recovered. We have had deaths in the family. Last week, I had two family members who passed away. So we are feeling emotions all over the place. Our lifestyle has changed. We are grappling with this new demand. And the world as we knew it is over, right? Everything is new. घर के बाहर निकलने के पहले you have to be sure that you have your mask. You have to be sure that you're sanitizing your hand. You have to wash your hands. So everything that we knew and we did changed. Now, how do we manage this stress? Can somebody tell me how they manage their stress?
Fostering hobbies.
Sorry?
Fostering hobbies.
Okay, you start, indulging in your hobbies. What else?
Meditation.
Meditation.
Listening to songs.
Sorry?
Maybe being positive always.
Being positive always. Okay.
Trying to resolve what gives stress.
Spending time with friends and family.
Spending time with friends. Sorry?
Do something that you like the most.
Physical exercises.
Do something that you like the most.
Do something that you like the most, talk to your friends, indulge in hobbies, do physical exercise. So most of you know what you need to do. Let's see whether we can add something more to that, right? So when we see stress, we see it as a dark cloud. Some andhera hai, right? But we have to understand there is always light at the end of the tunnel. When it rains very heavily and then the sun, the sun comes out, what do you see in the sky?
Rainbow.
A
Rainbow.
rainbow. Correct, a rainbow. So today we are going to see how we can manage stress, thinking of the rainbow. So there are the rainbow. These are the factors that we are going to discuss today. So the R of rainbow means rest and renew. A means accept and adapt. I of the rainbow means identity. N, normalize emotions and thoughts. B, be stewards of time. O, open up and seek help. And W is work and family balance. So the R of the rainbow, rest and renew. That means that you have to take care of yourself. You need to sleep well, you need to have a good diet, you need to exercise. I know that a lot of times youngsters are staying up in the night. Either you're saying that you're studying, and then when everybody goes off to sleep, you're chatting with your friends on WhatsApp, or you're going on social media, and that's fine, right? You need to balance it. What's very important is that between 11 to 1, uh, that is the time when your body corrects itself, or something known as a hormonal pituitary axis, the hypothalamic pituitary axis, corrects itself and restores itself. So if you're going to be awake at that time, it's not going to happen. So your body is just going to keep on getting used and used and used and not regenerate or recuperate. When you sleep is the time that when you, whatever you study during the day, the brain sorts it out like a filter. What is important, it pushes it into the long term memory. So that's why it's very important to have good 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Otherwise, whatever you're studying is just getting put into the trash bin in the brain, or it goes to the recycle brain. You want it to go into the hardware and be saved forever, so that whenever you look at the topic, you're able to remember it. So for it to go into the long term memory, it's very important that you sleep. And for that, you need to have some healthy sleep routines. It's very important to off your screens at least half an hour before you go to bed. Brushing your teeth, putting your pajamas on are important as a ritual, because it makes the brain realize that this is a habit that every day a time pe somebody is brushing the teeth. That means it's time to go to bed. Make sure that you put your lights off, or if anybody else is sleeping, put the blanket over yourself and try to reduce the light coming into your eyes. Diet, we all know. I know that it's okay to eat junk once in a while, but don't make junk as part of your nutrition. Because when you eat healthy, the body is able to cope with the stress better. It improves your immunity. You're able to deal with all the diseases, especially now during the COVID time. Your immunity needs to be better, so you need to eat healthy. Exercise. I know that many of us are homebound, but we can always, like we use our phones or TVs for watching series, we can use it to do exercises, we can play with our friends down, we can skip at home, we can jog at home. We can find about 10 to 15 minutes to do exercise every day. Now, the A of the rainbow, accept and adapt. So when I'm talking about accept and adapt, I want to talk about two parts. How do we manage these thoughts which come to us, and how do we build resilience? Now, what happens is there was a study which was done, and we think that मेरे साथ अगर कुछ गलत होता है, then I'm going to be sad, right? Or if something is bad is happening in my environment, or there is a death in my environment, or there is a huge financial loss in my family, I'm going to be very, very sad. It's going to affect the happiness of my family. This is a very, 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 very important aspect of mental health or positive mental health, right? So resilience means bouncing back. So bouncing back from an adversity. When I have a difficult time, we know that if you look back in your lives, you are maybe 13, 14 years old. You may have had at least one difficult moment in your life. If you look back at it, you'll say, okay, वो हो गया था at that point of time, मुझे लगा कि this is the worst thing that can happen. But today, when you look back at it, you will think, no, I managed to get over it. It could have been the worst thing ever at that point of time. But if you, each one, if you look back and think at one difficult time, you will say, okay, we did bounce back, right? So resilience means bouncing back. And this is something which you can build. It's not something that you are born with. So just like suppose today I decide I want to run the marathon. I can't just go and run 10 kilometers if I have not exercised, right? But if I start exercising and building my leg muscles, building my stamina, then I can run the marathon. In the same way, when we have resilience, which we can build with a lot of practices, then when there is a stressful situation, we will be able to handle it better. There are four important aspects to building resilience: self-care, connection, mindfulness, and goal setting. So self-care, we know we spoke about it, right? We spoke about sleeping well, having a good exercise pattern, eating well. Connection. Now this connection means your friend circle. And I do a lot of programs for your age group children, 9th and 10th. And one common problem that many of the young children tell me is that after when you're very good best friends with a group of friends when you're in primary, and then 5th and 6th, and by the time you come to the 8th and 9th, somehow some of us turn mean, and we start becoming mean to our friends, or we start isolating certain friends. And today, at the age of 40 plus, when I look back, the most fun that I have is with my WhatsApp group of my school friends, which whom I've been friends with for last 30, 35 years. We have forgotten the time when we were mean to each other or cruel to each other in words or what somebody said. So this friendship that we have is very, very important to build our resilience. And each one of you, if you are the person who's being mean to somebody, or you are the person who everybody else is being mean to, let's take a step today. Each one of us to decide that I'm going to change today. I'm going to be a more connected person, a more positive person. I don't like something about my friend. I'm going to pick up the phone and tell her that I don't like this. This is what upsets me. I'm not going to call 3 other people and gossip behind her back. Because this friendship that you are going to develop over the next 2 years, especially friendship among girls, is something which is going to be the backbone of it's going to be a safety net forever. So you need to have this connection with your friends, the connection not just on social media. So that's not reality based. Those are virtual friends. Real friends, friends with whom you can connect, you can be empathetic, who understand, who are trustworthy. Even if you have one such friend, that's enough for life, whom you can fall back on, who's compassionate towards you, who understands when you're going through a tough time. So if you have even one such friend, that means your resilience building abilities will get better. Mindfulness. Now, what is mindfulness? Can anybody tell me?
To
What do
be
you mean?
aware of what's happening.
To be aware what's happening. Perfect. Anything else?
Thinking about something.
Thinking about something.
Being aware about something.
Being aware about something. Correct. So awareness. Now, what happens is you get a thought. Either you're connecting to the past, like somebody said, "Can we go back to our past?" For example, now this right at this moment, I'm talking to you about mindfulness. So many of us will think about something that we heard about it in the past. हाँ मैंने सुना था इसके बारे में या मैंने कुछ देखा था. Or you will say, हाँ अच्छा अच्छा, I know about this mindfulness, I'm going to use it tomorrow. So we are in every thought, either we are thinking about the past or the future, whereas we need to focus on this present moment. So mindfulness means being there in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So if I am sitting and eating my lunch, I am there aware of my lunch. I'm not watching television, I'm not chit-chatting, I'm not scrolling on my social media account, but I'm actually tasting how it is. I'm feeling, using all your five senses. Why is it important? It's important because when you're mindful, and we can't be mindful 24 by 7, but at least if we practice mindfulness, we are able to improve the brain cells. The connections between your brain cells improve. Your brain is able to handle stress better. You're able to develop resilience. And what happens when you're mindful? There are certain things. Now you see in this circle, for example, I'm just giving the COVID situation because that's one big important stressor. In a mindful situation, what you will do, you will focus on things which you can control. What are the things outside your control? Is it in your control how the government responds to COVID-19? Is it in your control how others act? Now, when you step out, you'll see a lot of people with masks on their chin, mask around their neck. Some of them not wearing mask at all. Nobody social distancing. And we are worrying, अरे क्या है ये? कोई mask नहीं पहन रहा, बीमारी फैल रही है. Is it in your control when somebody dies because of COVID-19? Is it in your control if somebody is losing their job? Are any of these factors in your control? These things in the outer circle.
No.
So,
No,
Correct?
no, miss. No, miss.
But what is it, the inner circle? Can I control how I respond to others? Is that in your control? How do you react to a situation? Is it in your control to take protective measures to prevent infection? Can you wear your mask properly? Will you be able to maintain social distance? Can you sanitize your hands? Can you be careful about what information I give to others? Yes, these are the things which you can control. What is not in your control, we need to let go. And how do we be mindful? So this is one exercise which I want you all to do. So I don't want you all to lie down, but I want you to keep your left hand on your chest. All of you, close your eyes. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see everybody. All of you put your videos on. Keep your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your stomach. Okay. Now, when you breathe, which part of your hand, which hand is moving? Your left or your right?
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
if your left side, correct. So if your right is moving, that's really nice. That means you're doing good breathing technique. Many a times what happens is we're just breathing from our chest. Only the chest muscles are moving. We're not doing deep breathing. So what I want you to do is many a times when we are stressed, हम लोग क्या करते हैं? We start breathing harsh, right? Why this happens is the body or the brain is giving you a signal ki khatra hai. Now suppose you are crossing the railway track and a train is coming. What will you do?
I will run.
Run,
Move
right?
away.
Run. Suppose you see somebody, you're going on the way and you see somebody whom you don't like, some auntie who's going to pakao you majorly. What do?
We hide our face and go away.
Turn away.
Ignore
Why?
and walk away.
Right,
Ignore
let's
and
go
walk
there.
along the way.
So you
Walk away.
turn and walk away or run away. Kyun? Because the brain is telling you khatra. That is khatra ka signal. So when the khatra ka signal comes, the brain doesn't know whether the khatra is because of this auntie, or is it because of the train which is getting crossed, or is it because of your exam. The brain just knows कि खतरा है मतलब भागो. So जब आप भागते हैं तो what happens? Your heartbeat increases, correct? Your body muscles become tight because
Yes.
your body gets prepared to run. So what we need to do is we need to train our body कि हर टाइम खतरा नहीं होता है. Sometimes we need to calm ourselves. And that calming activity we're able to do when we do breathing exercises. So every day if you do 5 minutes breathing exercises, there is something known as a sympathetic nervous system. That is a nervous system which makes us alert and aware कि भागना है. So what we need to do is calm that sympathetic nervous system. We need to say नहीं खतरा नहीं है. So let's all practice this breathing. Okay, and everybody close your eyes. Keep your left hand on your chest and right hand on your abdomen. And when I say 1, 2, 3, so you will breathe deep 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, exhale. Okay, 1, 2, 3, inhale, and 1, 2, 3, exhale. So I'm watching everybody's video. I'm going to see who's not doing it. Okay, then you will have to have some time out of punishment. Right? So okay. So everybody, close your eyes. Close your eyes, Asara. So just breathe in and breathe out normally. Breathe in, breathe out. Normal breathing. This is normal breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe in, make sure that your right hand, which is on your stomach, is moving forward. That means you're doing absolute deep breathing. So you're breathing in and breathing out. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. This is normal breathing. Piyusha, can you close your eyes and do it? So you're breathing in and breathing out. Now what we're going to do is something known as deep breathing. So you're going to breathe 1, 2, 3, exam zones, long breath inside, and 1, 2, 3, long breath outside. Right? So 1, 2, 3, and breathe out. 3, 2, 1. When you breathe in, your abdomen will go in front, and when you breathe out, it will go back inside. So again, we'll try it at least 5 times. So breathe in 1, 2, 3. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. Last time, breathe in 1, 2, 3. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. So now you can open your eyes. So what you're doing is we're trying to calm the brain which tells you bhago. So even if you practice it for 5 minutes every day. And when we do meditation, what happens many a times, like I can't do meditation because when I do meditation and I close my eyes, I'll think about, okay, क्या खाऊं रात को, पिज़्ज़ा ऑर्डर करूं क्या, कि मैंने वो पेशेंट को बराबर दवाई दिया कि नहीं. So many thoughts keep on coming in my head. So I don't do meditation. What I do then is, if I do something physical, like breathing, I'm concentrating on breathing in and breathing out. That is also a part of meditation. It's also mindfulness, being aware of the present moment. And it's something physical, so it's easy to do, right? So I hope that each one of you will practice this deep breathing exercises on a daily basis. You can teach your parents also. The fourth aspect of resilience building is something which we call as goal setting. So, how do we set goals? We should set goals, and our goal should be very smart. So, smart matlab kya? The goal should be very specific. It should be a specific goal. What do you want to do? Your goal should be measurable. How will you know? If you don't have a measurable goal, how will you know when you achieved it? It should be achievable. Is it in your power to accomplish it? Your goal should be realistic. Can you realistically achieve it? And time bound. For example, I set a goal that I want to lose 12 kgs of weight in 1 month. Is it a smart goal?
No.
Why is it not smart? It's
Because
good,
it is
not
possible.
correct. It's not possible. So though it is a specific goal, I've said हाँ specific, right? 12 kilo kam karna hai. Can I measure it? Can the M be? Yes. But is it achievable or realistic? No. I can't lose 12 kgs in a month. But suppose I say I want to incorporate 8 hours of healthy sleep pattern. So it's a specific goal that I have 8 hours. It's measurable. I can measure 8 hours. It's something which is achievable. It is something which is realistic and it's time bound. Or even if for the weight, I say I want to lose 6 kgs over 6 months. Achievable, right? For that, I just need to put in small things into place. So the goal can be specific. It's a specific goal. I want to lose weight. How much? 6 kgs. Achievable? Yes. Realistic? Yes. In how much time? 6 months. Same thing in your academics. When you're taking up your academics, when you're taking up about, let's say I want to finish algebra. So be specific. What do you want to do in algebra? Not I just want to finish algebra. I want to finish 3 chapters in algebra. So it's a specific goal, it's a measurable goal, it's an achievable goal, it's realistic. But I want to finish 3 chapters algebra what? In 6 months or in 1 week. So that time bound is also very, very important. The other I of, so we finished the R of rainbow, which is rest and renew. We finished the accept and adapt. We finished the identity thing. Now we come up to the I of rainbow. R-A-I. I means identity. So identity, we have to be like Kareena Kapoor in Jab We Met. How many people saw Jab We Met movie? Anybody seen the movie?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Right?
Yes,
So
yes.
how she said, मैं खुद की ही favorite, correct? मैं खुद की ही favorite हूँ.
Yes,
So we
yes.
have to be our खुद की favorite. Nobody can validate how you are. So if, every time we feel that, if my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my parents or somebody tells me that I am good or I'm beautiful, then I am beautiful. That means you bought this amazing beautiful car, the Mercedes Benz car, and you are saying मैं नहीं चलाऊंगा, मैं पीछे बैठूंगा, जो आगे चला रहा है वो जैसे चलाएगा, वो जहाँ लेके जाएगा मैं वहां जाऊंगी. So you're giving the control of yourself to somebody else. But if you accept yourself, I love and accept myself the way I am, your identity will flourish. You will be happy because you have control over your happiness. So now I want all of you to say this loudly without unmuting yourself. Otherwise there'll be chaos in the class, right? So you're going to say, I can and I will. I can see you're moving your mouth. Everything is possible. Loudly you say. Let your parents also get scared कि क्या आवाज हो रहा है यहाँ पर. So everything is possible. I trust and believe in myself. Because if you believe in yourself, it's the first key to success. I am the champion. Say that loudly, I am the champion. And every day morning when you get up, when you brush your teeth, you must do this. You must look in the mirror with every movement. You must say, I love and accept myself. I can and I will. Everything is possible. I trust and believe in myself. I am the champion. Just a lot of people हम नमाज पढ़ते हैं, या you say the rosary, or you say Gayatri mantra. In the same way, this is something which is a mantra for your own self, for your identity. So you are going to repeat this every day to yourself. I love myself. I will do what I want to do. Everything is possible. I trust and believe in myself and I am the champion. The end of the rainbow, normalizing emotions. How many people saw this movie Inside Out?
Yes, miss.
Yes,
Yes,
miss.
miss.
If you have seen, you must watch this movie called Inside Out, where they talk about these different emotions, right? What happens when we are small? Um, your parents teach you how to brush your teeth. Why do you brush your teeth?
To keep us clean.
To keep our teeth clean.
Why do you take a bath?
Hygiene.
Fresh
Keep
teeth.
us
Keeping
healthy.
Hygiene and
us
fresh.
So you brush your teeth or you take your bath to maintain personal physical hygiene. But we don't really learn a lot about emotional hygiene. What happens when we fall down and we cry? Somebody will tell us, क्यों रो रहे हो? छोटे बच्चे थोड़ी हो, चलो रोना बंद करो. Or you're feeling sad about something, you say, why are you sad? Stop crying. Don't be a baby. So we have to understand that the feeling of how the feeling of joy is something which is nice. In the same way, to feel anger, to feel disgust, to feel sadness, to feel scared is normal. And these are positive emotions. You must experience them. You must experience anger. You must experience sadness. Because if you don't and you repress it, they will lead to problems, mental health problems later on in your life. So you must allow yourself to feel all the emotions. You have to identify what are these feelings. For example, when you're feeling something which is not right, you have to notice your difficult thoughts and feelings. Name them. Like how this girl here is saying, I am noticing that I am feeling angry. Rather than just getting angry and shouting, when you are getting angry, have a little step back a bit in your own head and say, what is this feeling that I am feeling? Is it anger actually, or is it actually sadness? Because many a times when we are sad or we are frustrated with somebody, also we'll show anger because we can't identify that this is sadness or this is actual problem. So can I identify what is this thought that I'm getting, and then can I refocus it? So I'm going to say yes, even though I'm feeling of anger, I choose to act by doing something positive. So when you're angry with somebody, they'll tell you कि count till 10. बट क्या होता है कि आप किसी पे गुस्सा गुस्सा कर रहे हो और वो सामने खड़ा है और आप 10 तक गिन रहे हो, तो हर एक काउंट पे आपका गुस्सा बढ़ने वाला है. एक, अब तो मैं उसको एक पीटी दूं, दो, more angry, three, more angry because the person is right in front of you, and by the time you reach 10, you just want to box that person, right? So counting till 10 when that person is ahead of you when you're angry may not help. What you need to do, leave the room, go into the washroom, go and take a walk and come back. Sometimes it helps to drink a glass of water. What happens when you're drinking? When I'm drinking water, I become silent. So then I'm able to process my anger a little better and I won't react at that particular moment. The B of rainbow, be stewards of time. So time management is a very, very important aspect of stress, right? We struggle when we are studying or when we are doing multiple things because we are not able to manage our time better. So I'm going to show you a small experiment, okay? Now this is the beaker. This is a science experiment. So beaker mein I'm going to put many, many things the way I want to put it. You have to tell me that can we do it in a different way, okay? So I put these stones, then I put these smaller stones, and I put these pebbles, and I put water. Can you put all these things in a beaker? Can one of you unmute and say, कुछ अलग तरीके से, unlike what I did?
We can
Sorry, beta, we can't hear you.
will fit in the
You wanted to, I'm sorry, we can't hear you at all.
You can put the small pebbles first and then the larger one.
Okay, we want to put the smaller pebbles first and then the larger ones. Anybody else?
First water, then the pebbles.
Okay, first water and then the pebbles. What else?
We can put the stones and the pebbles in a separate beaker.
No, we have only this one beaker. We don't have a separate beaker. ये एक ही beaker है, इतना ही सामान है और इस सबको इसके अंदर डालना है.
Well, maybe we could arrange it in a different way.
Yeah, so what different way?
You can
So
press that stone.
So I put the big stones, then I put the smaller stones, then I put the sand, and then I put the water. So you're telling me that I can put the sand first. Somebody told me I put the sand first, right? So when somebody put water first. So I put the water first, and then I put all these stones inside. What will happen to the water?
Water.
It will flow out.
It will flow out.
Wow.
So my pani is gone away. I can't lose anything, right? I have to keep everything. So my water is gone. Now suppose I put the sand first, like somebody said. So what will happen? It will fill up this whole space. Then will everything else fit? No.
So what if we put water, sand, and then the stones?
Yeah, so you put water first, then it will fill half the way. You put the sand, it will occupy, this much half. Then there won't be place for the big stones. We have to put in the big stones also, right?
First we can put the big stones.
That is what I did. So what I did was, I put in the big stones first. So actually, this is the only right way to do it. So for once in my life, I am right. Right? So I put the beaker, now I put the big stones. Then what happens to the small stones? They find their place in between the gaps. So they have gone and lodged over there. Then I put in the sand, which has also found its place in between, and the water will find its place. So the lesson here is that we have to do difficult things first. What do you do when you take out something to study? For example, I'm just talking about your studies. What do? Marathi and Hindi are the most difficult subjects. So we'll do that last. Let me just do the subjects which I love and I like first. In the bargain, what happens? Suppose you have 15 days for your exam and you say, I'm going to do Marathi and Hindi, which is so difficult for me last. And I know because it was very tough for me too. So if I do all my favorite subjects first, your time is going to be the same. You're going to take the same time to do algebra, geometry, and you will finish off everything, let's say, in 12 days. And now you have only 3 more days and you have to finish entire Marathi and Hindi, which was so tough for you. But if you have done what is difficult for you first, it may take a little longer time, but then the easier things, like how the easier smaller stones and the water and the sand found its place in the beaker, the easier things will find its place. So always remember, when you make your timetable to study, when you grow up and you start taking up other responsibilities, when you go to work and you take responsibilities, always do difficult things first. Now, for example, how do you plan your studies? Now, today's date is the 6th of November. Suppose you have your exams on the 6th of Jan. So, we कितने दिन बाकी है exam के लिए? 2 months?
2 months.
Correct. So when you make your timetable, you have to count how many days do I have, and then you plan your 24 hours in detail, especially for the 10th graders. Because if you know that, okay, I'm having my prelims happening in Jan, and you plan. So study 12 hours, sleep 7 hours, meal 1 hour. Study means I'm talking about school, academics, everything, right? All this. I'm just giving you a rough idea. This is not like a, hard and fast, you must follow this. Now, what textbook is this? This is your textbook, right? So this is your science textbook. Now suppose you have, correct, you have these 10 chapters. You're making your timetable. Or this is your maths book. You have these chapters. How do I make a timetable? Do I make it like this? 10 days left for exam, 10 chapters. Okay, I'll study 1 chapter every day. फिर वो निकल जाता है, फिर 5 दिन बच जाता है, and 10 chapters हो जाएगा. 2 chapters per day, easy. वैसे वैसे टाइम निकल जाएगा, 2 दिन बच जाएगा, and I'll have 10 chapters left. And I'll say, And ultimately what happens, we reach to this situation where there's 10 hours left and 10 chapters. And you're doing 1 hour for each chapter. But if you're able to plan these chapters a little bit easier, like I had one of my students who had sent this, so when we are writing the study time also, write what you're going to study. So here is where you're going to set those principles which we learned in goal setting. I am going to study Pythagoras theorem I'm going to do this exercise 2A, 2B, 2, 3, these particular sums. So when you make your timetable, make it so much in detail that you are able to fit in everything and it becomes an easier task for you. And why is it important? Because it is simple mathematics. Memory is equal to concentration and upon fear. So when, as it comes to a situation where it is, like this, 1 hour for each chapter, then the fear is very, very high. So no matter what you study, the memory is not going to be there, because ये बढ़ जाएगा तो memory कम हो जाएगा. But if you're able to concentrate and do a thing in an आराम से manner, it will go into memory. How do we ensure that what you study goes into long-term memory? Whenever you study something, it remains in your short-term memory. For you to remember at the time of the exam, it has to go into your long-term memory. And for that, this is very, very, very important. Revise and revise and revise. So when you study something, for example, you're studying a particular chapter, just read it once, make notes. Before you start the next chapter of that subject, go through what you have done before. Don't study it in detail, just go through your points. Whether you remember it or not, the brain is remembering it and causing revision. The more you revise, the more it's going to go into long-term memory, and then you won't be stressed about your exam performance. Otherwise, it becomes like that Gajni, Before the exam, you feel like that. The syllabus को समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है. अच्छा ये पहले कभी देखा था, ये chapter था? We think like that. And 5 minutes before a test, all the children are with their books outside the class, Oh, last minute, let me just grab up whatever is needed. So to avoid that, let's kind of plan a little bit in advance. The other O of the rainbow is open up and seek help. Many times when we have a lot of stressors, we can experience clinical depression, where we feel sad all the time, or we're feeling that we're losing interest in things. We're having sleep and appetite changes. We're feeling hopeless and worthless. Sometimes we feel that I don't want to live anymore. Sometimes your friend might just tell you, you know what, मेरे को जीना नहीं है, या ये जीवन में क्या अर्थ है. These are alarming and alerting signs. If you feel like this anytime, please reach out to somebody. At that point of time, it's because you're depressed. If your friend is making this statement, don't tell that friend, छोड़ ना यार, go and take a walk. देखो क्यों stress हो रहा है, सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. Don't do that. Seek help when we are feeling these things. Sometimes we feel very, very anxious all the time. That is also something that we need to be worried about. A very, very important epidemic more than the COVID, which affects you, is a gadget addiction. We're on our gadgets all the time, right? And this is something somebody told me, and I found it on the net also. That my parents should be so proud of me because I'm addicted to internet and not to drugs. The internet or your gadget causes the same changes in your brain like alcohol or hard drugs or brown sugar. Any hard drug, internet does the same thing to your brain. The same neural circuits get affected. Nowadays there are new terms, self-itis and digital amnesia. There are gadget de-addiction centers available, where we are actually treating people with addiction to gadgets. What do we do before we reach the point of addiction? Let's decide to use your gadget at a fixed time. I know that your parents and you are constantly at loggerheads with each other about the use. So why don't you sit down with your mom and dad and say, mom and dad, I know that I'm using my gadget more. And let it be like a family rule, because I can't just say that you stop using it, mama and dad will use it as much as they want. So that everybody at the home have a rule that there is going to be a fixed time that we are going to use. There is going to be something as a gadget-free zone. कि जब हम खाने के टेबल पर बैठते हैं, तो we are not going to bring out, Papa is not going to bring his phone or check his emails. Mama is not going to check WhatsApp or Facebook. I am not going to check my WhatsApp. And we're all going to keep our gadgets away. And for the next 15-20 minutes, when we are having our dinner together, we're going to talk and laugh, and you can ask your parents about how they were naughty as they were children and what funny things they did. And parents can share about their failures as well as their successes. That's one time where you can be gadget free. You can decide, okay, I'm not going to use a gadget half an hour before when I wake up or half an hour when I go to bed. What happens with us, the moment we get up, we take the gadget and go to the washroom. हम लोग सुसु भी गैजेट के साथ ही करते हैं, राइट? कि चेक कर लेते हैं व्हाट इज द स्टेटस, कल मैंने पोस्ट किया था कितने लाइक्स आ गए. So can we try to use that much time that we don't use gadgets? Most importantly, if you're struggling with these issues, be aware and alert if you're struggling with depression and anxiety. Take treatment as early as possible. And if you feel the need, visit a mental health professional. The last W of rainbow, work and family balance. Now, what is your work schedule right now is your studies. And I know a lot of students, like I said, I talk to a lot of youngsters, and I know that today everybody's naha dhoke, worn their uniforms and all nice and ready and sitting in front of their laptops or phones. But many a times what happens is हमारी class अगर 8:30 को है, we're waking up at 8:20, just brushing and putting on our laptops and just sitting in front of the class. Because we put our videos off, so it really doesn't matter how we are dressed up, right? But that doesn't really help us in the long run. So like how you woke up and went got ready for school, took a bath, wore your uniform, whatever you want to wear. Try to do that even when you're having an online school. We have, a lot of us have space constraints in our house. Our homes are small, but we can create one small space in our home where I'm going to sit every day and do my schoolwork. So create that workstation for yourself. And why should we do all these things? Because the benefits of healthy living are your physical health gets better if you're focusing on it, you get more energy and more stamina. Your emotions get stabilized, you have a positive attitude, you become more hopeful and happier. You're able to focus, you're able to learn and achieve more. So what I want you to take home at the end of this talk is that moderate stress is good. It's not that all stress is bad. You have to identify your source of stress and modify it by using the techniques that we talked about. And puberty is a normal part of growth and development. You need to spend some time with yourself, indulging in positive self-talk. So like you say your prayers every day in the morning, look in the mirror every day and say those statements that we spoke about. Have at least one meal a day with the family without gadgets. Practice mindfulness and breathing exercises every day. And the rainbow. So rest and renew, accept and adapt, focus on your own identity, learn to normalize your emotions and thoughts, be stewards of time by learning how to manage your time better, open up and seek help if you need to, and try to maintain a work and family balance. So thank you very much for the patient listening, and I hope that we can have some question answers. If you have not understood something, you have something unrelated to this topic, but something to do with mental health, something to do with how you want to cope with this COVID anxiety, I'm here to listen and talk, and maybe we can try to find some solutions together. We have about half an hour, I think, for question answers. If you have the time, we have the time for question answers. I kept it specifically short so that you can ask your questions and we can answer them. You can ask me anything related to mental health. Don't ask me about any series or what's going to happen, but I can ask about mental health.
Ma'am, there's a question in the YouTube chat. Why do
Yes.
people have dreams? Is it related to the conscious mind or the subconscious?
So dreams are a very, very important aspect of our sleep cycle. So your sleep has different stages. And one particular stage is known as an REM stage. So what happens in that? It's like the brain filtering out. When you do Diwali cleaning, अभी घर में सबके घर में Diwali cleaning is happening. What happens? Or when you before Christmas, when you clean your house, what happens? You're cleaning up. What you don't need, you're discarding or you're giving away, and what is needed, you're keeping. So when you're sleeping, at that particular stage of sleep is when the brain is going through whatever has happened during the day, trying to discard what it doesn't want and retain things in the long-term memory. That is why you dream. And you dream about things which happened during the day. Sometimes you dream about things that you wished happened during the day. Sometimes, like I told you, when you don't acknowledge your emotions or your feelings and you put them down, you put down your feeling of anger, you put down your feeling of frustration, the brain wants to clean up everything. It's like rebooting your computer or refreshing your screen. So the brain is trying to refresh itself, and that's why you get dreams. Any other questions? You can ask me anything. We have all the time.
Miss, I have a question. Miss, it is very hard to concentrate on like something. It's not for everybody for studying. It's very hard to gain the concentration. And then these concentration breaks.
Samruddhi, we can't hear you. Samruddhi, can you put it in the chat box? Can you put it in the chat box? The teacher will read your question.
She's talking about difficulty in concentration because concentration keeps breaking. I think that is what she's trying to say. Yeah, Samruddhi? Difficulty in concentration, and concentration keeps breaking. So that is what she's talking about.
Very good question. Thank you, Samruddhi, for this question. So, like I told you, concentration is very, very important, right? Because when I showed you the mathematical equation, memory is equal to concentration upon fear. So if you have good concentration, whatever you study will come up. We have to remember that we are able to concentrate at a time for a maximum period of 30 to 35 minutes. So if you're going to sit for 2 hours and say, I'm going to read for 2 hours continuously, you're not going to be able to concentrate. So first is to decide I'm going to study, let's say, for 20 minutes. First set the time. Out of 20 minutes, take a break. And when you take a break, don't take a break for 1.5 hours. Because that's what parents get scared of when you say break, right? Because 20 minutes pad liya and break le liya 1.5 ghante ka. So instead of that, if you can take a 5-minute break, where you're just moving your eyes or you're taking a walk and coming back, having a sip of water, that is first step of the time thing. Second thing, what happens is there's something in our brain which is known as a default network. What is the work of the default network? The moment your attention goes away, even bell baji, so the default network gets very, very active. And the concentration part of the brain becomes less. What are the ways to improve that? Like I showed you the deep breathing exercises, mindfulness practice, anything to do with meditation and breathing and mindfulness practice will retrain your brain to shut off the default network. So you yourself will see you're able to practice the meditation or breathing, any meditation, for 5 to 10 minutes every day. This default network which gets active, which is why your concentration gets distorted, because your brain goes to different parts, will calm down and you will be able to do the task. Also, when you're studying, another tip to help you is start to make notes. So when you're using only one sense, that is reading, you're only using your eye, right? So either you read it loud, or you walk and read, or you write down the notes. You're studying about a frog. A frog has 4 legs, it's whatever. Just write down 2 or 3 points. So the 2 or 3 senses getting active, and that is why you're able to concentrate better. I hope I've answered your question. Yeah, somebody was asking, how do we know? If the teacher can just read from the chat box, it'll help me.
How do we know if a person is stressed or depressed, and how can we help them?
A very nice question. So like I told you, that sadness is a positive emotion. We all feel sad. I will feel sad if I've had a fight with my husband, or I will feel sad if my son backcancels to me, or I will feel sad if I'm not doing well at work. And that is part and parcel of our life. Some days we feel sad, some days we feel angry, some days we feel happy. It's a roller coaster ride. But if I feel that I am feeling sad all the time, all the things which interested me before, I loved watching series or I loved dressing up, is not giving me the same interest, and this is continuous for more than 15 days, then it's something which is an alerting sign. So one, sadness which is persisting, lack of interest, sleep disturbances, either you're sleeping more or you're sleeping less, or appetite, either you're eating a lot, so a lot of emotional junk food eating chocolates, eating cakes, eating pastries, eating chips more than usual, or I'm sleeping all day, or I'm not able to sleep at all, or I feel very hopeless. So what happens when sadness comes? I'm feeling sad all the time. Then I look in the future and think, Arey, kuch bhi nahi hone wala. Everything is hopeless. I am worthless. I am hopeless. There is no meaning in life anymore. These are the signs of depression. And we must understand, like I told you right in the beginning, where are these thoughts coming? These thoughts are coming from your brain. So just like, suppose you're somebody in your house gets chest pain. बहुत जोर से छाती में दर्द हो रहा है. What we will think, it's a heart attack. Let's rush to the hospital, right? In the same way, these signs are a sign of attack of the brain. So depression is something which is physical. Why does it happen? It happens because whatever the reason be, certain chemicals in your brain go less. अब मम्मा ने अगर दाल बनाई और दाल में नमक नहीं डाली, तो दाल कैसे लगेगी? फीकी लगेगी. In the same way, when your brain chemicals go low, then your mood becomes low, your thinking becomes negative, and automatically your behavior gets affected. So if you are feeling that way, or anybody in your family feels that way, please do not hesitate to take help from a mental health professional. You could reach out to a family member and say, I'm concerned about this person. Can you help me out? Or speak to your school counselor, speak to some family friend who are very close to, and reach out for help from a mental health professional. What happens with mental health illnesses is a lot of stigma associated with it. We use the term that pagal hai kya, mad or what, crazy or what, so easily, right? So when we say that I'm depressed or I am sad, people will say, ha, mental hai, pagal hai kya? So these words only attach so much of bad connotation to mental health, right? We don't say when somebody fractures the hand कि तेरा हाथ फ्रैक्चर हो गया, अभी तू ना घर पे बैठ एंड योगा कर, तेरा हाथ ठीक हो जाएगा. Do we do that? अगर हाथ फ्रैक्चर हो जाएगा, so we'll tell please go to the hospital and put a plaster, right? In the same way, depression or anxiety or stress, if you're not able to manage, need to be addressed by a doctor. So you must take help. And if your friend is talking to you in confidence, saying that, you know what, I don't feel like living anymore, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with one trust. It's not breaking the trust. When your friend is saying that to you, it's the person wanting to reach out for help. A lot of people, young people, we are losing because of suicide. And I want to use this forum to tell each one of you that each one of you can be mental health soldiers. So there are such few mental health professionals, but each one of you is equipped to say that, okay, I can be a mental health soldier. I can be alert to my own symptoms as well as symptoms in my people around, and be alert and aware and take help when need be. So these are signs and symptoms of things.
2 questions, ma'am, on the YouTube. One is, what causes social anxiety and how to deal with it? The second one is, how do I let a person who has actually made me feel hurt know that they have made me feel hurt?
So one, we'll talk about the social anxiety first. So social anxiety means I'm having a fear of interacting in a crowded situation, right? I'm scared. Now it doesn't happen all the time. When we are born, we're not born anxious. We are born bindas, right? When we just move our hands, legs, walk, pick up everything, put our mouth. We're not scared कि कौन uncle है, कौन auntie है, who is there, who's not there. We're not bothered about these things. But as we grow older, because of their environment, because of the feedback that we get from our environment, we become anxious because we feel that I am going to do something wrong. मुझसे गलती हो जाए या लोग मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे. So the first aspect of the social anxiety is to understand what is it that is driving this anxiety. When did it start? Did it start that once when I was in grade 1, I stood up to answer teacher's question and I did not know, and the entire class laughed at me. Uske baad I felt I'm never going to get up and answer. Has it started that time? Or has it started when I went for a wedding and all the aunties made fun of me? Or my friends are bullying me? So first identify where did it start. Then identify on building, like I said, your identity. The moment you start putting that I am in charge of this, I am in charge of what I feel, we can help it. The breathing exercises I told you helps in an anxiety situation. So before you're entering into a situation which causes anxiety, start breathing. What is anxiety? Is it fear? So all those symptoms of anxiety will come up. All the bhagne wala symptoms will come. So when you start breathing, you start feeling better. All of us feel anxious. For example, I give webinars like the teacher introduced. I give webinars very, very regularly. I used to do it, face to face earlier before the lockdown, and now we've adapted and we're doing Zoom webinars or Google Meet webinars. But every time before I start the webinar or the video starts, sometimes this thought comes in my head. Pata nahi aata. What if I goof up? What if घोटाला हो जाएगा तो? गड़बड़ हो जाएगा तो? What if my slides don't work? Then I have to tell myself that, you know what, is it actually true? The last time I gave a presentation, did anything go wrong? No. So I have to find out what is the evidence that I'm thinking all these bad things are going to happen. Is it actually going to happen? Or can I think about the best outcome? So reframing the situation, like I told you even before, Do the things which you can control, forget the things which you can't, and reframe the story in your head. It will help in social anxiety. Now, in this whole question, I forgot the second question. So, what was the second question, ma'am?
The second question was how to let people who have actually hurt you know that they have hurt you without, breaking up relationships probably.
Okay. So the key to anything is communication. So how you tell that person, suppose there are two kinds of people, right? Some people hurt you unintentionally. So a person must be somebody who is just an angry person, or somebody who's very blunt and will just say something, gussa karke chala jayega, not knowing what impact it has on you. So if that person is somebody who's close to you and the relationship matters, you can't get away with that relationship with somebody who's close to you as a friend or a family member. When the things are okay, don't interact with that person or confront when there is an angry situation. Because when you are in an angry mood and you're talking, what happens is हम आवाज raise करने लेते हैं या हम चिल्लाते हैं. And just imagine now, suppose I'm talking to you and I'm just shouting. What is going to happen? What are you going to listen? You're just going to listen and look at my face and say, oh, she's very angry and she's shouting. इतना जोर से चिल्ला रही है. So only the volume and my tone you'll understand. What I'm saying you're not going to understand, right? So if you want to express your anguish about something to somebody, make sure that you are calm. You try to practice it in your head. I'm going to say this. So you've already practiced. Go and approach that person in a calmer way and don't say कि तुमने ऐसे किया तो मुझे बुरा लगा. The moment I say तुमने ऐसे किया, somebody comes and tells me, "Hey, Dr. Shil, आपने ना ऐसे सब किया, ये ऐसे कैसे क्यों किया?" So my first response is going to be, I'm going to go defensive. नहीं, मैंने ऐसे कुछ नहीं किया. All of us, if somebody blames you for something, your first automatic response is going to be, no, I did not do it. I did not intend to do it. So instead of letting that person go on defense, what you need to do is, I felt bad when this happened. So you are taking responsibility for your feeling. You are saying, for example, if Anandi said something to me and I'm angry, so I will tell Anandi, मुझे बुरा लगा जब ऐसे से हुआ. Can you tell me why you did this? I felt bad when you said this. Not you did something to me. The whole story will change and the approach will change. I hope I've answered the question.
Thank you.
And another sometimes there are people who don't really matter and they say things to you. For example, somebody on social media is passing nasty comments on you. Ignore. Sometimes it's okay to ignore also. You don't have to respond to every bad comment that comes your way. You should be concerned about people who really matter. You should have a core circle of people who, like I told you, when you're building resilience, your connection, the pals, your safety net, what they say, what they do should matter to you. बाकी जो बोलते हैं भाड़ में जाओ, सुनो भी मत. Don't get affected by people who constantly tell you negative things. So like the Iron Man ka shield or Captain America ka shield, we have to have this shield around us to deflect negativity from us.
Another question on the chat box, ma'am, is what is the best way to improve mental being, and is it the same for all?
So yes, absolutely, it is the positive mental health. That is why we are having this talk, right? We are having this talk so we can prevent mental health disorders later in life. Some of the mental health disorders are genetic. Some of them happen because of constant stress. Can we modify them? That's why we are having this positive mental health. How do we do that? Like I talked about stress management. So you learn to manage your stress better. Identify your stressors, modify them. Don't think any time in life that your environment is going to change for you. The environment will not change. The environment is always going to be stressful. We need to adapt or change ourselves to suit the environment. That doesn't mean that if you are in a toxic environment, you will adapt to it and say, okay, सब लोग मुझे मार रहे हैं या मुझे दबा रहे हैं तो मैं दब जाऊं. No. You have to learn how to stand up on your 2 feet and be assertive in a situation like that. So in any environmental situation, learn to adapt. That is one way. A very, very important tool to have positive mental health is resilience building, like we spoke about. Gratitude. So writing a gratitude journal every day. helps out. And this is not, I'm just not talking, gyan. This is scientific research. There's so much of research done that says that people who maintain a gratitude journal on a daily basis, their mental health improves tenfold. What it just means is you're helping your brain focus on positive rather than negative.
Another question. How do I help a person who already feels helpless and cannot do anything? What are the ways in which I can help out?
Correct. So we have to understand when a person is feeling very helpless and has having a negative thought, the person could be having depression. What you can help out as young adults is, one is be there for that person. So be there when the person wants to reach out. Let the person say or tell you whatever he or she feels, and listen to it without judgment. If the person says something which has happened to that person, sometimes when somebody is sharing something with you, they might just want to talk about it, they may not want your advice. What happens when somebody is sharing something with you, you want to give an advice, ye kar le, wo kar le, ye kar le, and the other person becomes more defensive. So don't do that. If somebody wants to talk to you, just be for that person, listen out to everything what he says. If you don't have the solution, tell that person, come, I will come with you. Let's go to somebody who has a solution to this. Let's go together to the school counselor. If you can't approach a parent, let's go together and let's talk to my mom. I think my mom will be able to understand your problem better. Or let's go and talk to, let's say, Genevieve ma'am. She may be able to understand it better. So if you are not able to handle it, please go and take help from somebody else.
Ma'am, how can we use our subconscious mind?
So we have to be sure what you do in your conscious mind. If the subconscious mind is something which happens on a subconscious level, right? So what you do during your consciousness determines a lot of things what happens in your subconscious mind. So if you are consciously aware about your emotions, you are focusing on your mindfulness practices, you are consciously aware कि मैं ये सोच रही हूँ, मुझे इसको analyze करना है, मुझे इसको ठीक करना है, then the subconscious mind will also be clean. You won't push down negativity. It's like, what is subconscious mind? Suppose your house is pura pasra hua and somebody rings the bell. So in my house, we have a seat which has a bench kind of thing, like you can open it. So suppose somebody rings the bell suddenly and all the toys are, all over the place, I will take everything and put inside that bench and close it. So somebody who comes inside will see, wow, house is so clean and neat. But actually only I know that I have just dumped everything inside that cupboard. In the same way, we dump a lot of things into our subconscious mind. So we need to kind of spring clean it regularly, or Diwali cleaning of our brain regularly. And that's how you do with mindfulness, breathing, simple things that you practice and it happens.
Thank you.
Somebody asked about guilt. So a very good question. A lot of us, we feel guilty about something that we have done in the past and we feel upset about it. Again, here the practice of mindfulness. So what does mindfulness teach you? To focus on the present. Now I'll tell you a story. So once there were these two monks, right? Like priest or monks. They were crossing from one village to another village. They had to go walking. In that monastery, they had this oath that you can't talk to or touch women. And these two men were walking and they were going along, and on the way they came across a river. So they had to cross the river, and there was a lady there who was struggling to cross. So she asked the monks, can you help me? So the younger monks picked up the lady in his arms, crossed the river, kept her down, and then they went on their journey for the next, they had to travel for another 2 to 3 hours, I think, till they reached their monastery. Monastery पहुंच गए, but after they crossed the river, the older monk just stopped talking to the younger monk. एकदम गुस्से में, all the way he went. They reached the monastery. Then the older fellow told the younger man that, Abhi, today you're not going to get dinner. So he's saying, why, Baba? We have traveled for 4 to 5 hours and come. I'm so tired and hungry. Why should I not have dinner? So he tells him, no, you committed a crime. You picked up that lady. You were not supposed to carry a woman, right? So the younger monk tells the older monk that you cannot have dinner for one week. He's like, why? I did not do anything wrong. So he says, no, I carried that lady only for 10 minutes. When I crossed the river, I kept her down and I forgot about her and I walked. But you carried that lady in your mind for the next 3 hours of the journey. That is what we do with our past. We carry the past on our shoulders and we feel burdened and we're always like this, hunchback and walking slowly because of the burden of the past. What we need to do if we have made mistakes in our past is learn from your mistakes. Don't repeat it again. So you become cautious that I have made this mistake, I have learned from it, I'm not going to repeat it again, but I'm not going to be bogged down by the burden of that guilt. So learn to let go.
Ma'am, a question is, how can I start liking something that I already dislike?
The first question is, why do you want to start liking something that you dislike?
Example in studies, that's what they say. Maybe the subject that they don't like. How do I start liking something that I already dislike?
So we can't like everything. It's not possible, right? So what you need to do is, okay, I don't like, for example, you don't like a particular subject, but you know that there is no other option other than doing it. So what you do is you do your things that you like with a lot of vigor and vitality, and don't the moment you open your book, oh God, nahi hoga, nahi hoga, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. The more you say negative things to it, the more you're going to dislike it. So just take it like a task, like how you brush your teeth or take a bath. मुझे ये अच्छा नहीं लगता है, मुझे करना है, बस मैं कर रही हूँ. मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता है every day morning उठ के school आना, but I come as part of the routine. Just try to make things if it is necessary. If it is something that is not necessary and you dislike it, करेला अच्छा नहीं लगता, कोई जरूरत नहीं करेला खाने की. नहीं अच्छा लगता, नहीं अच्छा लगता, जिंदगी में एक बार करेला नहीं खाया तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला. So you see what are the battles that you want to fight and what are the battles that you want to let go. Something which is important without which you can't, like ma'am said, if it's a subject which you have to do, then you just chin up and just do it for the sake of doing it. At some point of time, you're going to get rid of it, right? Like if you don't like arts, when you take up science, you're going to get rid of it. If you don't like science, when you take up arts or commerce, you're going to get rid of it. So just take it at one task at a time, divide up the task into smaller goals. The only reason why we don't like subjects is because we feel like we are not good at it. So if you're able to break it up and say, okay, today I don't like Marathi, can I just break up this chapter into 2 parts and study a part and revise it again? Once we start feeling that I'm achieving mastery in that particular subject, mastery doesn't mean full marks. Mastery means understanding of the subject. Once you start achieving even those things that you dislike, you'll start liking.
Miss, first of all, I'd like to thank you. The session was very nice and we learned a lot of things. But I have this question. Can we change an involuntary habit? Like sometimes we are fidgeting with our hands and we know that it is not right, but we do it and then it starts looking funny. So can we change it?
So the first word is habit, right? So it's a habit becomes involuntary because we do it for a long period of time. So if some, like I said, some habits, if they are not harmful for you, we need not kind of have this sense of being perfect all the time. That everything about me has to be perfect. First, we have to get rid of that thought. So some imperfections are okay. So if that habit is not causing you distress and not causing anybody around you distress, it's okay to continue with that. Because there are so many other things that we have to work on. That's one. Two is something that is causing distress. Then first and foremost is to be aware. For example, if your habit of biting your nails, what you can do is you can start applying. There is something that it comes, it's a bitter medicine that comes that you apply on your nails. You get in the chemist, you apply it. The moment your finger goes in the mouth, it tastes bitter, you bring it down. So here you're bringing about a negative thing to the thing. Suppose it's about shaking your legs. Then you just decide, okay, every time I'm going to do it, I'm going to become aware. So first thing is awareness about the problem, acceptance, and then it will gradually habit kaise form hua over a period of time. So in the same way, for it to go, consciously changing it over a period of time will help it to go away. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, miss. Thank you.
Ma'am, a question on the YouTube is, how do I stop overthinking?
Correct. So when you are overthinking, again, like I said, become mindful that I'm overthinking. In a situation, look at the things that I cannot control and let go of it. Only focus on the things that you can control. कोविड आ गया है, ओ गॉड सब मरने वाला है, गवर्नमेंट क्या कर रहा है, लोग बाजार में घूम रहे हैं, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, क्या मैं कंट्रोल कर सकती हूँ? नहीं. क्या मैं कंट्रोल कर सकती हूँ? मैं कंट्रोल कर सकती हूँ कि आई कैन बी एट होम, आई कैन फोकस ऑन माई ऑनलाइन स्कूल. When I step out, I'm going to mask myself. When I come back, I'm going to hand wash. Overthinking happens, like Nida said about habits. It becomes a habit when every time a situation comes, we are having something which we call as a catastrophic thinking. If you always think about the worst that can happen in a situation. So every time that happens, focus. What is it that I can control? What is it that I cannot control? Let go of things that you can't control. Automatically, over a period of time, you will stop overthinking.
Ma'am, another one is, why do emotions get mixed up at certain times and how do I learn to segregate them?
So that's normal. It's normal to feel angry, sad at the same time. It's normal sometimes to feel happy and sad at the same time. So it's a spectrum. It's not a compartment. So again, identify what is the emotion, what is the thought behind that emotion. Why am I feeling angry? Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling happy? Because thoughts, emotions, feelings, they are a circle. So identify one and you'll be able to identify the rest.
With respect to what you just said about let go, a student is asking, Ma'am, what are the ways in which we can learn to let go of a past incident that is troubling me?
Okay. So suppose it's a very traumatic incident which is troubling you. One way of learning to let go sometimes is visualization. So you imagine that you are in a better space. I'll give an example. Many a times, a lot of us as younger children or even now have faced, let's say, sexual abuse, or somebody has sexually molested at some point of time. And that is a burden or a trauma that we carry along with us for a long period of time. And that's something which is very difficult to forget. So A is to understand that sometimes we may not be able to forget a difficult memory. It will stay with us, and over a period of time, the intensity with which we feel about it, the anger or the emotions associated with that feeling will gradually reduce. Another way, like I was giving the example of sexual abuse, if you feel bad about it, start writing about it, tear it off, throw it. Write, tear it off, throw it. So every time you do that, you're writing and tearing and throwing, or you're burning the paper, then it feels like the brain feels there is a closure. So that's one way of dealing with traumatic instances. Any other questions?
Miss, I have a question. Like many people, as the age, as the age increases, we have to cope up with many diseases, like joint pains and many problems with the vision as well. So sometimes people lose confidence, and it's very hard for them to again gain that confidence. So how can we help them gain that confidence again?
So you're talking about the elderly people at home when they start experiencing physical challenges and they feel they're not feeling confident enough. So in the same way, correct? So same way, what you need to do is set small goals for them. Let's go for, let's say, a 500-meter walk today. And sometimes they just need that push. Let's do a 500-meter walk. And when you do that, instead of making it like a task which will exercise karna hai, you take a walk and talk to your grandparents about, about their childhood. And this is the right time. In lockdown, everybody's stuck at home with each other, right? So involve them in pleasant memories about their past. Because when they're thinking about their present, they feel very hopeless. I used to do so many things in the past. Now I can't do anything. I can't walk about. So get you involved with your grandparents and ask about stories about your parents. Ki Papa ne kya masti kiya tha? How naughty was Mama when she was young? What did you do when you were a child? What are the games you used to play? So these things evoke positive responses in the elderly at home. Second thing is involve them in playing, X and Zero or Sudoku games, crossword puzzles. If the grandparents are not literate, then you can play X and Zero with them or those dots. You can involve them in coloring games, card games. All these are exercises for the brain. Involve them in simple yoga. Say, I want to do yoga. So don't tell them again, like, come on, I want you to exercise. Like, I have been told to do yoga. Why don't you do it with me? So involving them in activities along with you, because they don't say no to the grandchildren so easily. So when you involve them, they will get, active slowly, and their mood will change.
Thank you, Miss.
Miss, sometimes we overthink about things and then later on these things irritate us. What should we do at that point of time?
The same thing that applies to all overthinking, no? Learn to let go if the thing is not in your control. Only focus on things which are in your control. Sometimes if you feel your thoughts are too much, it really helps at this age group to have a journal. And when you start writing a journal, tell your parents not to go through the journal. And let it be like a pact between you and your parents that this is something that you can see only if I am open to showing it to you. And if you feel it's something distressing about it and you want to share something with your parents, please show them the journal. But it's a way of letting out whatever you're feeling, all the random thoughts. You just keep on writing. It gives the brain a release. So try to maintain a journal or a diary.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Miss, in this lockdown, we all are at home and we are just keeping on seeing one thing particularly all the time, and we get bored of it like after some times. So how can we avoid getting bored of something?
So keep on doing different things. So example, if you're watching some particular series at the same time, put the TV off and like I said, play a game at home, or involve your parents in telling the story, get involved in the household chores, roti banana seekh lo, ya bulb change karna seekh lo, ya help your mom in some household chores, ask your dad about how this electronic thing works. Like I said, not just making roti, but even helping out in some other tasks. So you decide that okay, this week I'm going to develop a new hobby, or this month I'm going to develop something new, and dedicate your time to it. It could be 1 month you could say I'm just going to learn how to doodle. Next month you can say I'm going to learn how to hula hoop, or you can say I'm going to set up a challenge for myself. 21 days I'm going to increase my skipping by 10 counts every day. So when you set these challenges yourself, it becomes exciting. When you set these challenges, involve 2-3 friends also. Okay, let's form a group and let's do this together. So it'll be fun. It won't be so boring. Any
Ma'am,
other questions?
has a question. How do I stop myself from getting angry when I'm constantly compared with my younger sibling and made to understand that she is small, and so being big, I need to understand more than her?
So it's very normal for you to feel angry about it. Because I also used to feel very angry. I had a younger sibling who was 6 years younger to me. And, I had to always give in to everything. And my mom was so strict with me, and with him, she was very lenient. And even now I tell her, you're very partial towards him because he got away with all the things and I had to be this perfect elder child. But that's okay, right? It's not, see, your parents don't discriminate between the two of you. They just don't understand how you feel. So if you are feeling angry and it's affecting you, please use a time to tell your mom or your dad that, you know what, I know that I'm the older one, but I get very upset when you do this. Can you not do this? And see, your parents know 99.9% of the time, if you tell this to them in a nicer way, they will understand and they will change. They do it because they don't know that it's affecting you. They do it because they have also been told. Like I've always been told, like it's a learning, right? Hamisha bola bada wala hai, so you have to take care. So it's a learning which we have also learned over a period of time. I make a conscious choice not to do that with my children, but sometimes ho jata hai because it's something which we have learned over a period of time. But if my child tells me that, you know what, mom, I don't like when you're doing this, I may stop myself and change. So if you're feeling that, key to most of your problems is communication with your parents. If you feel you can't communicate with them verbally, कि उनको सामने देख के नहीं बात कर सकते हो, you can't share exactly what you're feeling when you look at them, write a letter to your parents. Write a letter down with whatever you're feeling and give it to them. So each and every parent loves the child. The way of showing the love may be very, very different. Some of them don't know how to express, but the love is there. And if you are able to keep that channel open of communication, it will help and improve your relationship. So write down a letter to your parents and tell them what you feel. If you can't tell them, face to face.
Ma'am, a question. When I know that I am doing something which is not right, or I am wasting my time, but I still continue to do it, how do I learn to stop myself from doing it?
So first thing is to give yourself a big round of applause for at least being aware that you are doing something. Most of the time we keep on wasting time and not even realize. Like sometimes I will decide that I have to make a presentation for a talk for St. Joseph's. I'll take my laptop and I'll just say, Acha, theek hai, let me just see WhatsApp ke messages kya hai. And before I know it, 1.5 hours is over, St. Joseph's presentation reh gaya, and 1.5 hours of my time is gone. Not even being aware. So you've already crossed the first step in being aware that you are doing something wrong. So with awareness will come acceptance that, okay, I'm doing it. Can I set a timer? So if you're feeling that you're going to do an activity which is going to get you distracted, set a timer on your phone which will ring after half an hour. Or if you're concerned about using screen, set a screen lock with time. After this half an hour, like for example, I have set in for my screen time is, if I use more than particular time, then if I go to Hotstar or I go to Netflix, they will say that, you have exceeded your limit for the day. So at least that signal comes to you saying that, you're doing more than usual. Can you control yourself? So set reminders and timers. Any other questions?
Miss,
Yes, yes,
there are some times when we are not able to express we feel to ourselves, peers, and family. So, and we are not able to find that how should we express. We want to talk something, but we talk something else, and this makes them feel like we are a bit hateful or we are a bit rude. So, how can we go about that?
So when you want to express something sensitive to somebody, like I said, if you feel that this is a topic which is going to be a sensitive topic where you may choke up or you may get scared, practice it in front of the mirror before you go to that person. Practice it 2-3 times so that when you go to that person, you will not forget. It will become like a road memory. Ram is a boy, Ram is a boy, Ram is a boy. So when you go there, automatically Ram will be a boy, won't be a girl, right? Because what happens if you're not practicing? You're going to go and flumber and no, we keep on doing that, right? So first is practice that. Second, like I told you, if it's something very important and you feel that you're getting choked up emotionally when you're speaking about it, write it down. If it's to a friend, text it. Sometimes when we're angry with our friends and we want to call up, it also helps to write down. So when we're texting and you're writing it, automatically before you put the send button, you can just go through those messages, the message that you have typed. Then you'll realize that I've been very harsh in this message. Can I just delete something? But if you say something, you cannot take it back. The word once comes out, it cannot be taken back. But if you write something, then sometimes you can just delete it before you put the send button. So try to do that.
Thank you, Miss.
Dr. Cheryl, before we end, we have our principal here. Sister
Yes,
Lalita, would you like to say a few words?
Yes. Sorry, Miss Donna, we will not be able to use our video because there's something wrong. You can hear Miss.
Yes, sister, we can hear you.
Okay. Once again, a very good morning to you, Dr. Cheryl, and dear teachers and students.
happy to see all of you all present here this morning. I know you all have finished your exams, but your teachers are very much aware about the needs of yours, what you are going through. Keeping in mind, teachers have been taking trouble to organize various workshops or seminars or webinars. And I was very happy when Ms. Donna informed me Dr. Cheryl John will be speaking to you all regarding the whatever difficulties you all are having, like, as a child, as a student during this pandemic. And I was very happy, dear children, you are asking your doubts, your difficulties which you are facing. Happy to see that openness. Dr. Cheryl, I know even though this is a pandemic situation, you have always, as usual, your busy schedule. In spite of that, you are being available for our students. And I could see when you are answering them, very cool and calm manner, understanding them what exactly they are feeling about it and encouraging them to ask the various questions. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for being available. And thank you, Ms. Donna, for thinking of the students and bringing an appropriate person to talk to them. God bless all of you.
Thank you, sister. It was my pleasure.
Miss Reena, we can end the session.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. It was a very, very enlightening session because many of our children, whatever doubts they had, I'm sure many of their doubts have been cleared. On the YouTube chat, there were so many questions and I had to ask so many of them. I was feeling quite odd because children on the chat in Zoom as well as they're constantly asking. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the knowledge that you have shared with our children and with us. We are very, very grateful for everything, and I am sure that our girls will put into practice many of the things that you have explained so that they will all be in a better emotional health. Thank you once again, ma'am, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. It was really great interacting with the lovely young women. You know, as we grow older, when we interact with the youngsters, it makes us also feel young. And I must say that St. Joseph girls are really, really smart and very well behaved as compared to how we were in school. We would have created a ruckus in the class by now. But all of you were really, really well behaved, you know, keeping yourselves mute, you know, unmuting and asking questions, interactive, because other session becomes very, very boring if I just have to keep on speaking and I don't understand whether you're kind of getting the point or. So I think it was a really fruitful time for me too, interacting with these young girls, and I wish you all the best in all that you do in life, and may God bless each one of you abundantly. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, teachers.
We'll end the session here, right? Good morning and thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Good morning and thank you, teachers. Good morning and thank you, children.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Good morning and thank you, teachers.
Good morning and thank you.